Hello guys, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be repairing hopefully this Atari kind of clone I found in the flea market. So let's get down to it.
Okay, let's try to get a closer look to these goodies. It was sold to me in a plastic bag the way it is, a bunch of cables without any PSU. I didn't have the time to check it. I didn't want to check it. I just want to have this repaired by the end of the day. I cannot see how, oops, this is going to be repaired. Crappy Chinese joysticks that came along with this console back in the day. This one is off. This one might have a chance, but the surprise is this Quick Shot 2 Plus joystick by Spectra Video might have a chance to get this one working by the end of the day. So at least we got something. Um, like I said, there was no power supply. I have my old Atari's standard power supply to test this console. Of course, it's not an Atari, it's a clone, one of the clones that used to say I have some hundreds of games inside of me. It's pretty much the clone we got used to for so many years. I cannot tell if it's gonna be fixed. Hoping by the end of the day maybe we can make it work. But first of all, I need to clean this because it's really filthy, full of dust and dirt, and separate the plastics from the circuitry. Uh, do the best that I can to wash and clean the plastics. This old RF cable looks like it is problematic by the looks of it over the connection. And so we have what we have 160 games built in, so it must be one of the very first that came out in the markets around 1990, 1991 or something, um, because all the models that followed used to have 600 games and stuff. So this one must be one of the oldest Atari clones that you can find. Like I said, I'm going to clean it up because it's so dirty. I can see no broken parts over the plastics in the case, which is good. I'm going to check the connections. I'm going to replace the RF output connector and check the voltage input. Basic things like the 7805 regulator in the power section of the circuitry, and hopefully we can conduct a test. Now it's time for disassembly, one of my favorite parts, and get rid of this dust. Of course, the games inside this ROM is not like 160 games. Um, of course, we have the game selector switch, which can be moved and select 40 games or less with 4 variations each. So in total 160 games, but actually what you get is less than 40 unique games to play with. The Spectra Video one and the joystick one and the other joysticks that came with it is not the right time to deal with them. So here we have it, the naked truth, the motherboard itself. The usual suspect is here, the 6591 CPU, some other chips on the side, some other chips are missing from the factory original design. Here is the hex inverter by Goldstar, and here is the 7805 for regulating the voltage coming in, which is interesting, but all these clones never have a heatsink over the 7805 voltage regulator. On the other side, next to 7805 right there over the switches is a counter Motorola chip, which counts the increments, the steps. So you go from one game to the other. Here is the RF modulator circuitry, which gives the signal, the picture over the RF cable and to your TV. This is pretty straightforward. I need to check the connector underneath this plastic cartridge slot. I have replaced already the RF output cable. I have used my standard Atari for these kind of motherboards that I have in the lab. And now the moment of truth. Should I power this thing on or what? Okay, let's power it on. Holy moly, it works. Something on the screen. A weird game or something. Oh my god, it works. Like, let's try to select a game. Move the second switch down and it goes to the next game, which I have no idea what it is. Uh, this one, this is simple math for kids. This is Frogger. I know that. This is fishing. Oh, something wrong with voltage connector. So I have to resolder the power connector. I have already cleaned the contacts inside the switches with some degreaser, and I'm willing to place I have to find a spare heatsink to place over the 7805 regulator. The picture looks surprisingly good over the RF modulator after so many years on a modern TV. It's really clear and quite good. um, One other thing I need to do, I need to um, take off the plastic cover for the cartridge slot so I can get underneath here and clean the contacts. Let me just try to find a heatsink for the regulator, and then I'm going to take off this plastic thing and clean the contacts. And so here is another funny story. I was about to test the um, Atari cartridge slot with an original Atari game. So I removed the cover to clean the contacts and all that. And apparently there is no connector at all. Should be here the 24 pin standard Atari connector for placing the cartridges. And so there is no connector at all. Doesn't come as a surprise, but these guys in China, I guess they are full of surprises. Cutting off the cost is always what they do. The cover doesn't have a slot, so you cannot actually put a cartridge in, but there is no connector on the motherboard, so you cannot use classic Atari original cartridges or whatever. And I have another system, another clone boxed in my collection, which actually has this connector. I can see the traces are there. Everything is there, addressing the lines to the CPU and everything, but there is no connector on the motherboard, which is the first time I'm experiencing some situation like this, really. So you cannot use a cartridge at this point. Maybe it's a future project, so I can get my own spare connector and try to solder it and upgrade this thing in the future. What can I say? The connector absolutely is absolutely needed if you want to play your old Atari cartridges, and should have been there in the first place. But this model, I don't know where it came from, doesn't have it. Now, as for the heatsink, I can only say that I found this funny little one to place on the voltage regulator. All the other heatsinks that I have are too big to fit in the case. So we have resoldered the power supply lines and the socket. We have replaced the TV output RF cable. We have cleaned the contacts and the circuitry, the plastics and all that. In the future, I'm going to put the socket for cartridge support, and I'm going to place also a LED indicator next to the on off switch, and maybe, just maybe, looking over the schematics, the 6591 CPU, I can work in the future a project to take luma and color signals from it, pins 27, 29, and audio from pin 20, so I can get an S video output to the TV and get the best picture that I can get from this machine. It's interesting to have those separated, because I think Atari VCS, the original one, combines luma and color signals. But in any case, I can get the audio from pin 20, color from 27, luma from 29, and play with it. This is going to be some future project as well, so I can get S video out of it, and that's pretty much all you can do. And so you can have a crystal clear picture out of this Atari clone. I don't know if it's worth it or not, but for the sake of the experimentation, it's always worth it for me. And it's not going to be happening today, but as a future project, sounds simple and sounds good. And so I guess it's time to wrap it up for today. A fake Atari logo I put on the console. Um, I don't know why, but I love these clones for whatever reason. I think it's because of the simplicity of technology that you can put your hands on, you can upgrade, you can do stuff without thinking of the cost. And maybe it is also because it's hard and difficult to damage it by the end of the day. So you can always do stuff around it and keep playing for the years to come. Um, so yeah, some future project is again to put the missing cartridge socket, so I can play my official Atari cartridges. I will put a LED indicator next to the on off switch. What else? I will get the chroma and luma outputs, so that in the future I can get an S video output on the TV, and that's pretty much what I need to do in some next episodes. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't done that already, and I'll be back soon with another video: restoration, repair, modification, demo from the past. Thank you so much. Bye.